Well, let's talk sports and review the UEFA Champions League. On Tuesday, Angel Di Maria scored twice as PSG stunned Barcelona to leave the Spanish side in danger of failing to reach the Champions League quarterfinals for the first time in a decade.
Paris Saint-Germain dominated the last 16 first leg tie throughout and took the lead through Di Maria's curled free kick. Julian Drexler added a second with an angled drive before Di Maria coiled an effort into the top corner. Edison Cavani then sealed a famous win with a powerful fourth.
And elsewhere, after defeat to Darmstadt, I guess I called the name well at the weekend, Borussia Dortmund suffered another loss to Benfica in the first leg of their Champions League round of 16 clash. Wow. And Arsenal's Champions League hopes lie in tatters at the last 16 stage yet again following a first leg battering of Bayern Munich. Now, the Gunners, who have been eliminated in the first knockout round of the competition in each of the last 6 seasons, twice by Bayern, lost 5-1 at the Allianz Arena.
After a 1-1 first half scoreline, Bayern were on fire in the second half, scoring 4 goals through Robert Lewandowski, goals by Thiago Alcantara and Thomas Muller to finish off the tie. Elsewhere, holders Real Madrid came from behind to beat Napoli 3-1 at the Bernabeu.
All right, joining us to discuss sports on the breakfast show is David Olayinka. David, good morning.
Good morning.
It's nice to see you this morning. Now, we'll come back to all of this because PSG and Barca, until now, have not been able to get hold of it. Now, we'll come back to all of this because PSG and Barca, until now, have not been able to get hold of what really happened, but we'll come back. All right, that's the foundation. You just listened to the managers there. David, I know you watched the match,
yes,
but one would sit down and say, PSG beat Barca 4-0. Messi was on the pitch. Suarez was on the pitch. With all of them, what really went wrong from your analysis?
It was just a bad day in the office of Barcelona. Nothing they did on the night worked for them. Imagine a whole 90-minute one shot on target, so unlike Barcelona. Also, Messi had one touch all through the game in the box in 90 minutes. And you wonder, where did it go wrong for them? They just couldn't figure out something. And the key man for them, or the man behind everything, they call him Cerebro, Andres Iniesta, was non-existent in that game. And like they say, no Iniesta, hardly do you see Messi perform. So the MSN just didn't come to the party. And everything PSG did in the night worked out for them. It was simply amazing. They wanted to win. I didn't see 4 goals. I expected, yes, a fight, probably a slim victory for PSG playing at home.
1-0 or
exactly,
something,
or 2-0 at
4.
Wow. That was alarming. That was shocking. It was a shock result.
Well, like you heard the PSG manager say there that he still pays his respect to
Barcelona,
to Barca.
Of
really.
course, they're one of the most successful sides in Europe, 5 times Champions League champion. With the squad that they've got, you cannot write them off. And all they needed was, you're just hoping that if Barca gets a goal, even at 4-1, we know going to the second leg of the Camp Nou, it's going to be difficult for PSG. So they held it tight and make sure they didn't concede any goal. That's how dangerous Barca. You write them off at your own peril. The second leg is going to be tough, no doubt about that. PSG know they're in for a fight, but at this stage, it's difficult. It's no one has ever turned a 4-0 deficit in the Champions League history. Will Barca be the first team to do it? We'll find out in a fortnight.
I guess in all of this, Cristiano Ronaldo will be sitting down and laughing and smiling somewhere.
Exactly, it will be, because they won last night, obviously. A good one for them. Messi did not get to score, neither did he get to score. They're both chasing the first to get to the 100-goal mark in Champions League history. Ronaldo is on 95, Messi's on 93, and I'm sure he enjoyed it. Every Real Madrid fan would have enjoyed that game on Tuesday night. There was no love for Barcelona on Valentine's night in the city of love. It was heartbreak for them. It was shocking. Let me just use the word shocking. We didn't see that coming, but probably next season. It might be still too early to start saying next season, but as it seems right now, from all logical footballing tactical point of reasons, you see no way back for Barcelona, because you can say there's no way PSG would not score at the Camp Nou.
But PSG did something right. Which of the player do you, which of them actually made it happen for the PSG?
All of them did. All of them did. I wouldn't say one guy from each of the departments, from Munier at the back, also Rabiot as well, then Di Maria and Draxler. Matuidi was big for them on the night as well. So all of them contributed their quota. It was a team effort and they deserved it.
Maybe they were like the Cameroonian team that were just a collection of 23 friends.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, now, but in the whole of UEFA, what tight challenges do you think? Because Bayern Munich is there, they're coming from that axis and so on. But how tight do you think is going to be going forward?
For all the teams?
Yes, all the teams generally.
As it stands right now, we've seen the first set of 16 or the first 8 play. We're hoping to see the next 8 next weekend. As it stands now, if we're going to look at it, we'll say yes, Bayern already through, one leg in there. PSG already through, one leg in there. Then you look at Dortmund, Benfica. Dortmund are having a bad run at this point in time with all the stars that they've got. They did well in the summer market because they recruited a lot. They brought in someone, Schuler. They had them Dembele. They had them Emre Mor, one of the young superstars in that squad. Also, they've got Aubameyang, Marco Reus. So they've got the star talent to do it. Why they're not getting the job done is a headache, because you saw Aubameyang miss a penalty and an open goal in front of that, which he doesn't do. So it's some say Zed's in the clouds already, wants to leave. He was thinking of Madrid, thinking of a bigger team. But hey, you need to settle down, hit the ground running, get the job done. By the time you start missing crucial chances like that for your team in crucial competitions, big teams might look and say, hey, do we really want to sign this guy? So it's tough for all of them. Everyone has a chance to win it. I wouldn't write off anyone at this stage. We're yet to see the next 8 teams. Also, Man City is also in that other half as well. So it's going to be difficult, no doubt. Any team that's won the Champions League over the last couple of years, they've fought for it. They've gone all the way to make sure they fight the extra mile to do it. And I can't put a finger on who's going to do it. Well, right now, we're looking at Bayern being the favorite in this half of the draw. Yes, Real Madrid, the defending champions, they're also in it as well. They've got the star quality players to go out there and do it. So we'll just wait till quarterfinals, semi-finals, then we'll have a better light of who will likely be the champions.
Okay, now let's come back to Africa. Issa Hayatou, CAF president, is interested to run again for the 8th term as president of CAF. And this is not going down well with FAs in Southern Africa.
In my own opinion, I feel he should just say he's the life president till he dies. Because there's no way anyone is going to come in, because normally you're not meant to do more than 4 terms. And he's done 8. He's going for the 8th one. So if after that expires or runs out and he's still alive, God willing, he's going to go again. So it's like African leaders holding on to power. We have someone in South, I won't mention the name of the country, in the southern part of Africa, who's been there for 32 years and he's still going again. So I think it's a power thing. When you enjoy power, you taste it.
Maybe it's an African thing.
I don't know what
it's an African thing.
Avoid using the word African thing, because FIFA, I was going to bring up the FIFA. Said Blatter didn't want to leave, they had to force him out. So the thing is, when you're in a comfort zone, we like all human beings, we enjoy our comfort zones. We don't want to move out until we are forced out of it. So if where you are is enjoying the milk and honey, why should he leave?
Okay, we'll come back to this. Let's
are we
go
going
on a break? Yes.
Okay.
Let's go on a break and then we come back to dwell more on this, because when it comes to Africa, the terrain is different and the dimensions are also different. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast.
Glad to have you back. It is still TVC Breakfast and we are talking sport. And our guest, David Olayinka, is very much with us in the studio. But before we continue this conversation, let's give you a background to the story of Issa Hayatou wanting to, according to David, wanting to be the president.
Live president.
Live president. So, and the decision of incumbent Issa Hayatou to run for an 8th term in office as the president of the Confederation of Africa Football, CAF, has stirred controversies.
Now, the Council of Southern Africa Football Associations, COSAFA, has rejected Hayatou's bid, and the council is to convene next week to discuss on the candidate for the CAF presidency. But CAF has reacted angrily by warning COSAFA that it has no authority to organize such a meeting.
Newly elected president of COSAFA, Philip Chinyangwa, is due to meet with the presidents of football associations in Harare on the 24th of February.
Okay, let's get into this right now. You want to contest for president? And we say, well, you're going to be president over us. We are the ones to vote. We don't like you.
Yeah.
So why should there be... Anyway, fine. I don't think I should ask that question. You are not Hayatu. But the point is, does COSAFA have the authority to meet the way they are meeting? They're going to meet in Harare, in Zimbabwe. Do they have the authority to meet or not?
Yeah, because they do have the authority to meet because they are in that region. We have the West African Football Union as well, which is WAFU, which the West African countries, Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, Togo, the likes of them can sit down and meet as well that this is the candidate that they want. So they have this between their constitutional authority to do that. But why Hayatu is kicking against that, he sees them as a threat that if he doesn't have the support from these sides, which are the big wigs, then he might lose out in the presidency. So he's not happy with that. So he's saying that is against or is unethical against CAF rules. But they are all members of CAF. So if they decide in their region to meet, there's nothing wrong with that.
But we were expecting, it's an election you are going into.
Yes.
If they say they're not interested in you,
in a candidate,
we look forward. We're expecting that he tries to woo them, to try to make them understand. I'm not saying they don't have the authority.
Well,
to do
if
that.
I have tried that, you know, the different ways you try. When you try and woo someone, they know like
it doesn't work.
Then
you change tactics.
They change the rod of the stick.
But who do you think they could be rooting for COSAFA if they don't want Hayatu?
Well, Chingawa is there. We also someone from South Africa as well, SAFA. They stand a good stead to do it. Also, the likes of Kalusha Braya has also been there in the past as well. So they've got good, strong representation who can come out from that region and challenge Hayatu. So Hayatu knows he's got this, the West African slot sorted out already. North Africa shouldn't be a problem. He's got friends in that zone. So that's the only place he might be having problems. So he wants to sort that out. So he's seen that region as a threat as well. But the thing with Africans, or permit me to use the word Hayatu, is that they just don't want to leave. 8 times. Definitely is going to get it. I don't see them stopping.
Camera sleeping. There was a particular meeting I saw. He was sleeping when the meeting was going on. So is it really still efficient? Really?
And
is it alive?
Most of them are not efficient. They're just holding the office for the perks that come with the office.
All right. Now, apart from that, if we narrow it down to Nigeria or even West Africa, aren't there candidates that would like to or qualified enough to, root for the presidency of CAF? We have Abedi Pele in Ghana. Even Nigeria, we've had Segun Odegbami before, who wanted to contest for FIFA.
Yeah, the thing with the Nigerian thing is want to get into FIFA. So getting
CAF
into FIFA, you need Hayatu's backing. So he has to sign, this is the person we're putting up from our region, CAF. He's the president of CAF. So if he doesn't endorse you, then it becomes a problem. So you don't want to get in his bad books for that. So because the FIFA office is higher than the CAF at this point in time. So if you get into FIFA, then CAF is just a minor thing. So they're looking at the bigger picture at the end of the day. So,
that's thinking that they would lose. Because if they win the seat, then it becomes theirs.
No, as in going into FIFA, you have a representative from your FA. So our current NFF president is looking forward to getting into FIFA.
What I'm trying to say is this: if they challenge Hayatu and if won the election, then Hayatu is out of the way. Then you don't need his endorsement. Then the endorsement comes easy.
So but they're not thinking of the CAF presidential seats. That is for me to also suicidal to your football political career at this point in time. He's been in the sport for over 30 years. So this is a man who knows the business, the politics of it. You cannot toy with people like that. So if you do that, it's political suicide for you, upcomer who's just come, who hasn't spent up to a decade in football politics in Africa, so you don't want to do that.
Okay. Rwanda has the Rwanda FA. Something CSC out Nigeria is one of those they're trying to consider among so many others to become the coach for their team. Tell us about that.
It's a good one. They had a short list of 100 people who they streamlined down to 8, and for Siasia to be among that, it shows how highly respected and highly valued they think of him, because you've got other coaches like George Leakins, who's a Belgian, also in amongst that 8. So I think it's a good one for Siasia. It will build the CV. He's got an enviable CV going by Africa or Nigerian standard, the Olympics silver medalist, winning coach, bronze medalist winning coach. You saw what they did in Rio the last time out. Also, what he's been able to do in Nigeria as well. So, adding Rwanda to that, I believe once you use that, if you can get them to qualify for the World Cup or a major tournament, it adds to a CV. We saw what Stephen Keshi did with Togolese national team a couple of years ago. So, I believe it's a good one for Siasia. It's a way forward.
He's also interested in the Bafana coaching job,
yeah,
I'm aware.
Yeah.
So between Bafana and within the South Africa and the Rwanda, which is...
to me, the South African job is more prestigious. It's a bigger national team. They've got a standard, structured football house and footballing nation. So it should be a better one for Siasia. But hey, he knows what he wants, what is being offered him at this point in time.
He wants to be building his CV, as the case may be. But I know when it comes to chances, sometimes your chances can be brighter when you have a smaller team than when you're talking about
bigger team
Bafana. It's all right. David Olayinka, thank you for coming on the program this morning. Thank you. All right. All right, this is where we come to the end of that sports. So many things going on in there, but we have to rest it for now. Moving on, it's talk time now. Death sentence now awaits kidnappers in Lagos as Governor Kumi Ambode has signed a bill aimed at checking the spate of kidnappings in the state.
The law prescribes stiff penalties, including the life imprisonment and death sentence for offenders. We'd like to warn that this report by our correspondent Lidoja Salama Deniyi contains flash photography.
This signature will take the lives of kidnappers whose victims die in their custody, and life sentence is prescribed for kidnappers whose victims do not die in their arms.
In recent times, kidnapping has become a major threat to the safety of citizens and therefore required decisive action by the government. This law imposes a penalty of life imprisonment for kidnapping for ransom. The law stipulates that where a victim dies in the course of a kidnap, the suspect is liable on conviction to death. Security is of utmost importance to our administration, and we're confident that this law will serve as a deterrent to anybody who may desire to engage in this wicked act within the boundaries of Lagos State.
The law states that any person who kidnaps, abducts, detains, captures, or takes another person by any means or trick with intent to demand ransom or do anything against his or her will commits an offense. Any person who knowingly or willfully allows or permits his premises, building, or place or belonging to which he has control of to be used for the purpose of keeping a person kidnapped would also not go scot-free.
Our justice system will be required to execute this law to the letter and make sure that any criminal caught faces the full wrath of the law. While we use this law to address the challenge of kidnapping and punish the criminals, we're also putting in place appropriate measures, particularly in our schools and other vulnerable targets, to prevent security breaches.
Lagos State has recorded many cases of kidnapping lately with students, traditional rulers among victims. Hence, the need to take the issue of kidnapping seriously in the state. The governor also signed into law the Lagos State Sports Commission Bill and the Lagos State Sports Trust Fund Bill. The governor says the Sports Commission law would give legal backing to the formulation and implementation of sports policies in the state, while the Sports Trust Fund would enable governments to raise money for the development of sporting facilities and activities. Adedoja Salama Deniyi, TVC News, Lagos.
All right, welcome to this segment, the last segment on the program this morning. We are or will be discussing on this segment the war on kidnapping. There are several states are coming up with laws now to be really very stringent on the case of kidnapping and kidnappers. We have joining us right now a lawyer, Libros Oshoma. Libros, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. And joining us on Skype is from the United Kingdom, is a senior researcher with the Sussex University, Uche Igwe. Uche, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. How are you guys doing?
We are fine. I hope you're fine in there. Is that cold where you are?
Well, it's not too cold.
All right.
Too cold. I'm indoors.
Okay, that's fine. Let's start up with this. Libros, the Lagos State has signed into law now. The governor signed into law the laws against, or the act against kidnapping. But in true terms, these laws, because Lagos is not the first, it's not the second, how much of deterrence is this laws against kidnapping?
All over the world, laws alone don't deter people. It is the implementation of these laws, the enforcement of the law, that deters people. So if a law is just a paper tiger without implementation, and that's why you find out that in Nigeria you have these laws on paper, but the crime is still with us, and because we are not doing what we need to do. And I say our problem really is not lack of laws, but lack of implementation of the ones that we have. And so that's why people tell you, you need to begin to look at the structures and see how you can remodel them for effective implementation. Prosecution starts from investigation. And then here we say the windmill of justice grinds slowly. But we also forget that justice delayed is justice denied. And so we need to marry all of this together so that at the end of the day, we'll truly be able to deter people. We need to look at our policing, we need to look at our criminal justice
before you go into all that, be that as it may, the law is there. Let's look at the provisions of the law. One of it has to do with life imprisonment.